They're locked in at the 8th seed, which is a very successful season for us based on how low the Lakers had been for most of the season. So to get up to the 8 after us sitting at 9 and 10 for as long as we were, we'll take it and make the most of it. Alec, you're kind of shaking your head and looking around and all that. How about the Lakers getting the 8th seed, knowing how to play one game potentially versus the Pelicans on Tuesday to get locked in for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would like sum it up as a successful season.
A successful finish in comparison to where we were most of the year, is what I was trying to say.
I get, like we jumped from the 10 to the 9
Sure,
to the 8. We'll take that, I guess, not having to win 2 games to get into the playoffs, only needing one. But yeah, I mean, this Lakers season, like we talked about last week, had like its highs and its lows. You had the in-season tournament, which feels like a year ago at this point now, and very inconsequential to what we're playing for now at this point of the season. So I'm hopeful that they can rise to the occasion, but I am a little bit concerned. Obviously, we got Denver sitting at that 2 spot, and we got AD going out of the game with the back injury in this last game of the season. So it's not the greatest, or not the most optimistic I'm looking at this Lakers team right now, but we'll see.
Matt, I know you're on the opposite side, being a Boston fan, but any thoughts watching the Lakers from afar and the success they've had this season, or lack thereof, as they now sitting at the 8th spot to end the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, I was licking my chops when you called the 8 seed a success.
I saw you. I was trying to look away.
No, in the context of this season, I do understand that getting here was somewhat of a success, so I will give you that. But I mean, I guess it's less of a take, but more of like a question for maybe the two of you. Like, what is different this year, aside from maybe AD's back injury, because that speaks for itself, but like, what's different between this and last year? Because they did just make a run from the play-in. So I was actually kind of curious to hear you be a bit more pessimistic, Alec.
A bit more pessimistic. Yeah, I mean, what's different from last season? I mean, there are kind of some similarities. Like, they have had a pretty nice stretch, like, to end the year. Like they did last year, like post trade deadline. Once they made the Russ trade and brought in the, what'd you say?
I said we'll goof real quick. That's all. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So like there's some similarities there to where like they kind of ticked it up a notch to end the year. But I think the difference this year too was like health wise, like they haven't fully been there, and like granted, it hasn't been to the stars. Like AD's probably been the healthiest he's been in years. He played 75 games this season, so can't like discredit him too much for that. But like some of the role players, Vanderbilt, I still don't think is going to be healthy for first round of the playoffs. Vincent's been out. Kendrick Nunn 2.0 has been out most of the year, and so guys kind of shuffling in and out of the lineup. Darvin Ham, as a result of it, not really being able to figure out the mix of rotation for this team. And then something we talked about just in the off season before the season even got going was that we felt like there wasn't really a solidified third guy. Like we have guys that can slot into that role between D'Lo and Reeves and Rui on any given night, but not a guy that you can count on scoring 20 each night. It's like it's one of those guys. So I think that there is like kind of why this team doesn't give me as much confidence as say last year's team did, where they were like really rolling, like coming into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's different this year because last year was caught us by surprise when we flipped the switch and made the run that we did. This year, it's like now it feels like we're all just waiting for it when it shouldn't be the case. And what we've done as a result of that has led to a lot of nights of bad basketball. So it technically is the same, but knowing that we expect the same result, it kind of makes it a little bit more, I guess, tense fan wise, because it's like that switch isn't easy just to flip on as they think it is. So we'll see how they go about it. But yeah, definitely hoping we have a similar result as we did last year, and hopefully higher as we go on with things. So definitely a good question there, and we'll see how things play out. To that point about just this season and in comparison to last year, we saw last year that we ran into not super team, but a behemoth and Jokic and during his peak. And they end up facing him again this year. Should the Lakers position themselves potentially to avoid the Nuggets early on in the playoffs, or should they just go ahead and face them head on early on if that's how things line up, Alec?
9 times out of 10, I say don't tempt the basketball gods. Like you play it through. But this is the one team we do not want to see like at all. Like the worst possible matchup is the one that we probably will get. I think they will beat the Pelicans in this first game, as they just did today by 20 plus or whatever it was. So, I mean, AD said I think post game that he's going to be all right. He's going to play. So there's really no excuse for them to lose this game. But if I was in that organization, I would definitely be thinking about like taking it a little bit off the gas against the Pelicans in that game, because a matchup with Denver, maybe it's not a sweep again, but gentleman sweep, like at best. We haven't. I can't remember the last time we beat them. I think it's been like 8 straight games we've lost against them, going back to last season and including this regular season. So, yeah. I might tempt the basketball gods this time if I'm the Lakers.
We got comments that we beat the Pelicans in the play-in. The first matchup going to be rough. Yeah, we end up playing the Nuggets. Definitely be a fun one. But I think as you said, I think it'd be good to, as he also followed up with saying, take our chances against OKC, who's a younger squad, a little bit more inexperienced right now, and we've shown ourselves to be capable of beating. So, yeah, I agree with you there, and think that if we can find a way to manipulate some things. Jokingly, we saw today with Boban for the Rockets against the Clippers, where they had to, if you miss 2 free throws, you get the crowd gets free wings, or whatever it was, and he got to the line, and he was like, I got y'all, don't worry. And he missed the 2 free throws for the crowd. I think if we get into a spot where somebody's got to miss a free throw to win the game, go ahead and take it for the team, and knowing that we might end up having a third result.
Shameless behavior, but I mean, hey,
I do what you gotta do. Hey, as a fan, I'm just being honest here. So, yeah,
that's getting close to a Jonte Porter situation.
Carefully. But no, for real though, I do think that we shouldn't be in a rush. As we talked about before, Alec, we shouldn't be in a rush to play the Nuggets. There are some folks like, let's just get out the way. And
we want Denver. No, we don't. No, we do not want Denver.
We're all good. We'll see y'all when we have to. But if we can avoid that, we'll play everybody else and work our way back as need be. So, yeah, interesting to see how it plays out. I do think we survived the play-in for sure, though. So wherever that lends us playing, I'll take it, and we'll address things further as it goes on. Matt, you're on the opposite side. Celtics fan. We'll address that more in a moment. But who you view as more of a threat on the West right now, the Nuggets or the Thunder?
Definitely the Nuggets, just because they've done it before. Like, even, I even just as a basketball fan, like, I'd rather see the Lakers play the Thunder in the first round, just because I think that's a fun matchup. Like,
it is.
I just want to see some games of that. Especially in, like that intense environment, like Shea in a playoff game in LA, I feel like he could do something special.
Yep.
But then also, like, I think that's much more of a winnable series for the Lakers than the Nuggets is. So I want to see that. In terms of who I'm scared of out of the West, it's Denver, and then they're like kind of miles ahead of the field, just because we've seen them do it before. So like there were times in that last Denver Celtics game where it was like, oh yeah, it looks like Jokic makes a mistake, and then it's just, oh, that's an alley-oop to Aaron Gordon, and then
right,
like they just look pretty unstoppable in a lot of ways. So I mean, I'm hoping for a Denver Celtics finals. Like, that would be the ideal finish for me. So I think it's them versus the field, but OKC is tough for sure.
Yeah, would be ideal, but ideal doesn't always play out in the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll talk more about the Celtics in a moment, but definitely we'll continue to monitor how this thing goes. And excited for all that's on the way. Anything else, Alec, you want to address about the Lakers right now? We had talked about the game, I believe, with the Pelicans coming up. Anything beyond that you want to address before we move on?
Well, real quick, just with Matt touching on the Thunder, I think you can't look past them either at all. Like, they're the 1 seed for a reason. They played really, like, surprisingly really elite level of basketball this year, and have a young core that's seems to be ready for the moment, and has a chance to prove it now with that 1 seed. And I think even if it is a Lakers team that kind of is a bad matchup for them, still, like, you have to give them their credit. I mean, because they've put together, what is it, close to 60 wins this season with average age, I think, under 24.
Under?
Yeah,
It's
talk about
crazy.
the Thunder.
57
So,
wins right now.
I mean, Sam Presti saw the vision and hoarding those picks and bringing in those young talented guys and
Yep.
hit on most of them.
Yeah.
And between J Dub and Chet and Josh Diddy, as we now call him,
Yep.
and and Shea, of course, at the top. They're a formidable opponent in themselves too. So the Lakers couldn't look past them either if we did have to play them.
Right, very respectable all across the board. It was also asked who you think has the easiest path to the conference finals in the West, and the response already was nobody is the West. I had the same thought. Just with how tough the West is, there isn't really an easy route for anybody here.
Yeah.
Technically, the Thunder may have it, depending on who the 8 seed ends up being, if it's the Pelicans or the or one of the Kings or the Warriors. But even them against being the Thunder, being as young as they are, could get upset there because of their other youth right now. So yeah, I don't think there's really an easy path for anybody right now, which make the West real fun. The East is a whole other conversation, but yeah, definitely gonna be a fun to watch, and in the West for sure. And we'll have more comments about it as we get closer to it. So yeah, definitely a lot to pay attention to here. Good stuff on the way. I guess as we close, I'll just reiterate, we have our Pelicans Lakers matchup coming up on Tuesday, Alec. We obviously we're putting Lakers to win the game, but
Yeah.
any further prediction beyond that you want to make about the game? Anybody you want to see really make an impact, or you want to just leave it at that?
I think the Pelicans probably put forth a better effort than they did today. I was a little bit shocked with how. What'd you say?
I said I hope so.
Yeah, I know. I was a bit shocked with how the Lakers kind of dominated them pretty much from start to finish, like in this matchup. And because they've been playing really good basketball. I know Bi's been out for a bit, and so like he's finding his rhythm a little bit. But yeah, I mean this team led by Zion and McCollum has been playing really well. So I was a bit shocked by that. It is a tough matchup, of course. Like for most teams, it's a tough matchup against Anthony Davis. And then of course LeBron still at the ripe age of 39 is still a tough matchup, even for a guy like Herb Jones, who's an elite defender in his own right. So I do still see the Lakers winning this matchup, but I would hope it's going to be closer. Like you said, you hope, because we did kind of beat them down in the in-season tournament as well too. So we'll see, but I do think the Lakers come out on top.
If you can put a number on it, 1 to 10, how confident are you that we get the job done?
Like I said, it depends if we're tempting fate. It depends if they're taking it a little off the gas and want to try to play for that Thunder matchup. But I'm gonna say I'm pretty confident that they will try to play it out because this is LeBron. So I'm gonna say probably like an 8.
8 or 9. All right. Well, we'll see about that. Hopefully, Pelicans didn't dupe us for a game and play bad. Just turn it up next game when it really counts. So we'll see about it. But I agree with you that I'm at really like an 8 or 9 and believe that our guys will get the job, step up as we need to get the job done on Tuesday night. So fun stuff there. We'll see if we can possibly come back for a reaction after the game, but we'll sure within the week have some talks about that further once the game plays out. So good stuff there.